Breaking news: if you like the sound of stimulus checks coming straight to your mailbox, then this is a very important update for you. Look at this headline as Trump eyes issuing $1,000 to $2,000 worth of checks to Americans. This is huge because after this government shutdown, or you can say during this government shutdown, a number of things has finally happened that could devastate the financial situation of millions of Americans. And talking about stimulus checks, this is what President Trump said recently while he was talking to Fox News.
You talk about the hundreds of billions of dollars that have come in because of the tariffs. Would you consider, where's that money going to go? Would you consider giving it back to taxpayers while they wait for some of the things that you just talked about to kick in? Is that an option?
Politically, that's a nice thing to do, but you can do that and you can also pay down debt because we're talking about very big numbers.
So which do you like better?
Both, maybe. I mean, I could see both.
At times when millions of Americans are confused and a number of government employees are furloughed because they are not receiving their payments during this shutdown, and this is a situation of panic among millions of Americans. Look at this, another headline as Donald Trump proposes new stimulus checks up to $2,000 for Americans. I'm gonna link all of these articles that I'm gonna talk about in this video in the video's description because we want to be as transparent, as honest as possible, and you can see these recent updates can change a number of things for you and your loved ones. I'm going to give you each and every detail, but all I need is just a little favor. It takes 2 seconds to please hit that like button on this video. So without any further ado, let's begin. So let's begin with the biggest opportunity that can save you around $1,100 when it comes to your Medicare plan. You can get unbiased help from a real person absolutely free. All you need to do is to call 212-461-4492. The number is on your screen, 212-461-4492, and get the help that you deserve absolutely free. So let's start the video with this very important update about $2,000 checks for a number of Americans as Donald Trump proposes new stimulus checks of up to $2,000 for Americans, and the details are indeed very shocking. Look at this. President Donald Trump has said that he's considering offering Americans stimulus check between $1,000 and $2,000 from tariff revenue. As you know that according to President Donald J. Trump, billions and billions of dollars are pouring into the American economy, and because of these tariff money, stimulus check is a possibility, and he's thinking about giving a number of Americans these stimulus checks, and we are talking about Americans who make $100,000 and less. Look at this. Talking to One America News OAN network, in a one-on-one interview aired on Thursday, Trump was asked what he would do with the revenue generated from higher tariffs on important goods to the US. We are going to do something. We are looking at something. Number one, we are paying down the debt because people have allowed the debt to go crazy, he said in a statement in that interview. But you know what's the best thing that he talked about? It's this. But you know, with the growth, with kind of growth we have now, the debt is very little. You grow yourself out of debt. It's not a question of paying it. You grow yourself out. He added, we'll pay back the debt, but we also might make a distribution to the people, almost like a dividend to the people of America. And this is huge because the amounts were also stated by President Donald J. Trump. A number of people were actually backing Josh Hawley's proposal, also known as Americans Worker Rebate Act, which is calling for $600 to every adult, $600 to every dependent, $1,200 for a couple, and $2,400 for a family of 4. But President Trump just changed. Look at this. Asked about the size of these proposed rebate checks, Trump said that his team was thinking about maybe $1,000 to $2,000 worth of checks. This is huge because millions of Americans are struggling right now because of this worst inflation. As you already know that according to the recent report from Gallup, the prices of groceries are up by 21% in the past 3 years. And recently the COLA increase that has been announced today was just 2.8% to seniors, disability benefit recipients, and also for food stamp recipients. Look at this. Trump eyes issuing $1,000 to $2,000 dividend checks for Americans. He's calling calling them dividend checks because he is very careful when he said that he is proposing these checks, but nothing has been decided yet. But when we go into the details, we get to know that this proposal seems like finalized already. Look at this. Imagine opening your mailbox to find a $2,000 worth of dividend check from the government. That's the eye-popping idea President Donald Trump is now floating, all thanks to his sweeping tariff policy. According to President Donald J. Trump, billions and billions of dollars are pouring into the American economy every single day. And because of these tariff money, it's really easy for him to give a portion of it to millions of Americans who make $100,000 and less. Look at this, as this is also very important. Talking about tariff, Trump said that they are just starting to kick in, but ultimately your tariffs are going to be over $1 trillion a year, he said in a statement. And you need to understand the previous stimulus checks during the pandemic that millions of Americans received were $2,000. The total stimulus package was $1.2 trillion. That included the SBA loans and the loans such as refundable loans to millions of Americans and gig economy workers. And now it seems like if President Trump even allocates $200 billion from this trillions of dollars that he claimed that US will receive, it's going to change a number of lives. Well, that's a big claim. Treasury Department data cited by Fox Business shows cumulative tariff collection at $214.9 billion so far in 2025. President Trump placed these tariffs around 4 to 5 months ago, and US has already received over $200 billion. Well, of course, he placed another 50% on China, means total 100% tariff has been placed on China and imports from China. This is indeed a very shocking thing, because if it happens, it's going to generate not just billion but trillions of dollars, as US imports billions of dollars worth of goods from China alone every single year. Trump says the funds would first go towards paying down the national debt. Number one, we are paying down debt because people have allowed the debt to go crazy, he said in that interview. And this is also very important. According to Bernie Moreno, US has currently $37 trillion worth of debt, and right now it's time to deal with it. But remember that in a year, if US is going to receive over $1 trillion worth of tariff money, is it wise to allocate all of this money towards paying down this debt? Because it's going to take around 37 years to pay down this debt, and every year US accumulates more debt. And this is something that millions of Americans are worried about right now, and they are saying that it's going to be a great step from President Donald J. Trump right now to send these stimulus checks to Americans, because the government shutdown has added additional hurdles in the life of billions of Americans who are already struggling in this worst inflation. The new number came out as 2.8%, means the inflation is up by 2.8%, which is quite shocking, to be honest. As I mentioned earlier, the rent prices are at all-time high. People are unable to afford their rent. They're unable to afford their mortgages. And of course, the grocery prices, according to Gallup survey or Gallup report, is up by 21%. You understand already, when you go to a grocery store, you go there to spend 10 or 20 bucks and you end up spending $80 to $100. And you all know the struggle. The US national debt now stands at staggering $37.86 trillion, but Trump insisted America can grow its way out. With the kind of growth we have now, the debt is very little. Relatively speaking, you grow yourself out of the debt. It's not a question of paying it. You grow yourself out, he argued with the host. And this is also very important, because yes, if there's a debt on any economy, it's a burden on it. But one thing these leaders needs to understand, that if the people of that specific country are not financially stable, things will collapse. Well, then came back the kicker. We also might make a distribution to the people, almost like a dividend to the people of America. He revealed, we are thinking maybe $1,000 to $2,000, it will be great. Well, will it happen? It's not the first time the idea of cutting checks from the tariff revenue has surfaced. Back in July, Senator Josh Hawley, as I mentioned earlier as well, introduced a bill to send $600 worth of tariff rebate checks to hard-working Americans, arguing they should share in the wealth that Trump's tariffs are returning to the country. But even at that smaller $600 level, Critics questioned the wisdom, and even Bernie Moreno said that this bill will never pass because US has over $37 trillion worth of debt and we are going to pay this debt first. Well, how on earth Bernie Moreno is going to pay down this debt in just couple of years or 4 years of President Donald J. Trump's term? Nobody knows. Well, I don't think a rebate would be particularly good policy. Alex Durante, senior economist at the Tax Foundation, told CNBC, "I would prefer that the revenue was used for deficit reduction rather than just cutting checks to the people." And that's where the biggest argument comes into play, as a number of Americans are saying that this country has money to give billions and billions of dollars to other nations so they can survive and thrive, where own Americans and most vulnerable people on American soil like low-income families, seniors, and disability benefit recipients are struggling. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about this whole situation, and do you support these $2,000 worth of checks from President Donald J. Trump? If you do, then write in the comment section, "I support $2,000 worth of checks." Again, if you support him, then write in the comment section, "I support $2,000 worth of checks," because remember, if you don't do anything, nothing will happen. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video very soon. Till then, please take care and have a nice day.